Lauderdale, and Lancaster, Pennsylvania, and Northeast Ohio. This is the Jersey Boys Sports Talk. I am Mr. Santiago Leon, substituting for Victor Orocho, who is on assignment tonight. It is December 9th, 2021. 2 more weeks till Christmas. But if you haven't yet, please subscribe in all our channels, YouTube, Twitch.tv, Twitter, and Apple Podcasts. And if you're on Apple Podcasts, please leave a rating and a review. It will help us out tremendously. Of course, you could always leave a review and subscribe to our podcast. And go to our website, thesportscast.net, thesportscast.net. And of course, you can go download our app, the Sportscast for iOS only. A big week behind us, a lot going on. We're going to discuss the Giants loss against the Miami Dolphins, and then go over the NFC East. Then we're going to talk about college football. A lot of hirings this past week. It feels earlier than usual, but it's a big turnaround for some programs. And of course, we'll be predicting week 14. That's right, 14 is getting deep in the season. Anyways, join us, Byron Jones, Andre Gispert. Welcome to Jersey Boys Sports Talk.
Thank you.
Howdy.
Byron, my man, how you doing?
Oh, I'm just doing wonderful here in Pennsylvania. It's nice weather. Saturday's supposed to be 70 degrees.
Really?
Yeah.
How about over there in Ohio, Mr.
Well,
Andre?
considering I came off of a tree stand, it was 32 degrees and the wind and a 7-mile-per-hour wind shear. Yeah, I would like some of that Miami weather.
Which today went up to 85 degrees. It was kind of cool
This
for the
guy
past
rub
2
it in.
weeks.
I'm telling you, this guy likes to rub it in. 85. Yeah. What's the humidity like?
Pretty high, but I mean, I didn't like it personally because I was enjoying the cool weather, but today it was a little bit warmer than usual, but it's okay. Tomorrow or maybe next week, things will go back into cooler mode. All right, let's begin. Giants and Miami. A huge win by Miami Dolphins. They're in a 5-game winning streak. But the Giants did not have Daniel Jones, had Mike Glennon at quarterback, and they had Saquon Barkley, who rushed for 55 yards. I want to go with Byron. What were your thoughts over this matchup? Was it unfair because maybe Daniel Jones wasn't there?
No, it'd have been the same results. I've been screaming about this for months. The offensive line stinks. The offensive line is killing them. And, one of the biggest culprits is Will Hernandez, who's been there for a while. He's been there for a while. He's just, I can't describe it. He's just awful. Up here, a lot of people are getting on Saquon, Barkley, because he's not Saquon, now. But, Andres knows that, it takes a while, to come back from, the type of, knee injury that this guy had. He was explosive, the one run he had. But, for the most part, it doesn't help that when you get the ball, as soon as you get it, you run right back into the butt of the center or the guard or whatever. And that's every single week. Then you have, the rookie, Kadarius Toney. I don't know what's wrong with this guy. Every week he's hurt, his quad, his knee, his rap career, or whatever he's got going on. But he's been he had one big game, I think it was against Dallas. But besides that, he hasn't been available. Shepard has been out again. And the only thing that really, saving, the Giants from being embarrassed, the defense is playing well. Patrick Graham, is, doing his thing like he did last year, with the pieces that he has. So that's the only saving grace, that it's not getting blown out, by everybody the rest of the year.
Let's go to Andre Grispert. We'd love to hear your recap over this matchup. I don't know if you're still a Miami Dolphins fan, but
I never was.
Never was. Okay.
I never was. I think I went over the story once. Dan Marino ruined it for me. Wouldn't want to sign a T-shirt for a friend of mine who after a softball charity game, and I told him F you.
He's tough in the streets. I've heard stories that he's tough, but then I heard other stories that he's super nice. I don't know.
All I
what
can
Dan
tell you
Marino
is he
you'll
didn't
get.
want to sign an 8-year-old's T-shirt. An 8-year-old's T-shirt. Like, seriously. I was maybe 14 years old watching over this 8-year-old, and the 8-year-old asked for an autograph, and O.J. McDuffie gave him an autograph. Troy Vincent gave him an autograph. Everybody else, including Mark Duper, Clayton, a bunch of Miami guys, including a Miami great known as Larry Little, all these amazing guys signed his autograph, and Dan Marino said, "I don't do autographs."
For the moment. Okay. So Dolphins are in a winning streak.
You're right, but I think it's prevalent to admit there a lot of these guys are finally coming to that playbook of theirs, and understanding the playbook. I think they got a little too radical the first few weeks of the year with that playbook, trying to do things that wasn't catering to their strengths. That's one. Two, the offensive line of the Jets, man, they need an enema. I mean, seriously, just go ahead and get rid of all of them. I think the Olay squad is what they should be called. Forget calling them protection or whatnot. I mean, they're literally trying to get their quarterback killed.
And he did. He got a concussion now.
I mean, and Saquon Barkley, he's not gonna be good all year. This is gonna be more of a getting used to figuring out what cuts he's gonna be able to make. What type of propulsion he has. How is it going to feel when he gets tackled? That's all new to him, and that's basically what this whole year is for him. Trying to figure out what are his abilities and what he can do. So, if you ask me, just let him do his things. Let him do his 20 carries a game, but don't make him your workhorse, especially when you got a freaking Swiss cheese offensive line.
Something that has been in complaint by Byron since week one, and probably in the preseason.
Before that.
Well, anyways, let's move on to the next one. NFC East. Washington Football beat the Raiders 17-15. Heineke completed 23 of 30 yards. 23 of 30 passes for almost 200 yards, 2 touchdowns, and 1 interception. Byron, your thoughts on Heineke and Washington Football? Are they the real deal? They're also in a winning streak to 4 games. What are your thoughts over this Washington Football team?
They're winning the way the Giants should be winning. I'm going to go back to it again. They have a good offensive line, and they have a good defensive line, but they're minus Sweat and Chase Young. And they also have a real head coach, which is Ron Rivera. And I think that, Heineke is like playing himself into, getting a contract where he's going to be the guy, for them for the next, I know he's 28 years old, but, for the near future, he's going to be the guy, be the quarterback because he's playing well. The whole team is playing well.
Andre Grisbert, is Heineke the man in Washington for the future?
I don't know. I think they're asking a lot there. I think he might be the stopgap for the next couple of years, but I don't know if he's the future.
A lot to prove.
I think as long as they can keep him healthy, as long as they can give him he's maybe one receiver away from being able to average 400 yards a game easily.
Which they were missing a few players. I know McKissick was missing, so there's a few key players that were missing that game. But hey, they pulled out the win with the Raiders, but the Raiders were missing Waller. Let's go to the other NFC East team. Eagles beat the Jets 33-18. Byron, I don't think much explaining to do, but I will say this: Gardner Minshew completed 20 of 25 passes for 242 yards. Jalen Hurts was injured. Is this something? Is there a lot of tell there, or just one good game? And it was they're playing against the Jets?
Oh, it's a mess. Well, it's a mess up here. They already have, the Gardner Minshew statue. They're already putting it up. You're already, hyping this guy up. Even though Jalen was hurt, he hurt his, ankle. But now they're pushing where they want to have like a two platoon kind of thing that Jalen to be the starter, and then if he screws up, then they put the other guy, Minshew in. But yeah, around here on the radio and the news, with the politician out with today, that's all they were talking about with Minshew, and they just for some reason they're not sold on Jalen Hurts around here, even though he did play well. He's been pretty good, except for the one game against the Giants where he 4 interception. But for the most part, he is what he is. They were talking about him as far as like his throwing motion that is too long. He wants to take off the run first. If the guy just little stuff that if he gets coached right, he'll be able to fix those things. I think he's the guy for them personally. But around here, it's Minshew mania again.
Minshew mania, Andre. Minshew mania. Do you believe it, or they just played against the Jets?
For these guys, I really do feel for anybody who plays any professional sport in Philadelphia.
Brutal.
They get dissected by not 1, not 2, but 5 different sports media networks over there, and then you have 10 different radio stations, just talking heads that are redissecting things. Let the guy be the guy. How many times did we hear that Donovan McNabb was not the guy? How many times? But yet that guy is a Hall of Famer. I mean, seriously, the problem with Philadelphia is the people of Philadelphia don't know how to build and build up a guy. They want to tear him down. That's why the Phillies, they only do good for a while and then they suck. The Flyers, they only do good for a little while and then they suck. I mean, they had Allen Iverson and they still complained.
Yep.
If you ask me, in my world, it's MJ, LeBron, Iverson.
Well,
and they had a problem with it. But no, at the end of the day, I think the problem is Gardner Minshew. He's a rollout quarterback, and they were able to go ahead and deal with his rollouts a little bit easier and smoother than they are with a Jalen Hurts rollout, because when Jalen Hurts rolls out, he does more of a diagonal instead of a banana route. If you understand where I'm coming at, he's trying to hit. He's not doing a whole rollout with a play action fake or whatnot. No, he's doing a different type of rollout, which I don't know if it transfers to the NFL good enough. But he's missing a quarterback guru to fix that. His throwing arm, leave it alone. I hate that they keep messing with this guy. One of the best freaking quarterbacks that ever played in the game is Randall Cunningham. And how many people thought that his throwing motion sucked? But then again, Philadelphia, they always got a problem.
They started at 6 o'clock in the morning with the whole Minshew thing after the game. They started at 6 o'clock that morning on the WIP, on the radio, about the whole comparison between Minshew and Hurts, that they want Minshew to be the quarterback now. It's been all week long. That's all you hear on the radio every day.
Well, the Eagles definitely have some questions. Of course, Gardner Minshew is a quarterback that has proven in the past, but of course, as Byron is hearing, there is a debate to be talked about in Philadelphia. Let's look at the standings. First place, Cowboys 8-4, Washington 6-6, Eagles 6-7, Giants 4-8. Andre, do you see any movement there? Do you think the Cowboys will stick, or a team like Washington might, go up first?
I think Washington might be able to steal it, especially with the way the schedule works, where everybody's playing each other in those last 3 weeks. but that it's really the weakest division in all of the NFC right now. I mean, them and the AFC West. They're let's face reality. It's just the parity's all right there. Everybody's within a game or two away from taking it. I don't think there's going to be a wild card out of this group. I think at the end of the day, the Cowboys just might squeeze it out, barely. And it pains me to say it, but at least it's not a Jason Garrett led team.
Which, yeah, exactly. Which he got fired by the Giants, and now Freddie Kitchens is head. Byron, what do you think about the NFC East so far? We're heading into a heavy month of divisional games. But what are your thoughts?
I am pushing for the Washington Redskins to overtake the Cowboys because I got so many Cowboy fans around me. They're killing me every day. I have to hear it. It's going to cost me a tomahawk steak and a bottle of Jameson if the Cowboys, and that's all I could think of. The Cowboys, if they win, I'm done. So I'm pushing for the Washington Redskins. Don't be surprised if the Eagles, squeeze in there a little bit, but we know the Giants they're done. But I'm waiting for the Dallas Cowboys to implode, and then Mike McCarthy probably get fired, and that'll be that if that happens this year. But I'm pushing.
Byron, my man, buy that tomahawk steak now before it turns before it costs you a mortgage.
But Andre, Mike McCarthy, loved by Jerry Jones, I've heard. How do you think he's doing in Dallas so far?
To be honest with you, I think he's doing average at best. I think he's missing out on a few things here and there, but it was kind of expected this year to be missing out. I mean, you can't just take over a team like that and one that was comfortable, because they are really a baby. I'll never forget when one of my favorite coaches told me about his time coaching under Campo and Jimmy Johnson and Barry Switzer over there, and he was telling me, he goes, Andre, Dallas is very different from anywhere else in the NFL. They treat everybody and they pamper people to another level. But Jerry Jones wants results. And I think Jerry hasn't been putting his foot up people's butts and has been pretty happy with just a happy-go-lucky being on the top of the standings right now and moving forward. I really think if the results were flipped and if they were where the Philadelphia Eagles were right now, they'd be different. They would be in survival mode. But these guys are not in survival mode. You can see it when they practice. You can see it in their pregame. They're not in survival mode. They're just trying to squeeze it out. And I'm not seeing any creativity in their offense. Their defense, though, has been very creative. That's what's been keeping them in the game. But offensively, you got Dak. You got what's this running back's name? Zeke. And you got Zeke.
Tony Pollard.
And then you got two wide receivers that could catch the ball if it's anywhere between 10 yards from them. You got two wide receivers that could catch anything there, and it's just not happening. And it's not the lack of protection, because that offensive line isn't. You're not seeing Dak or Zeke getting hit from behind the line all too often. It's not clicking. Something is not clicking with that offense that I can't explain. And the way how they're pursuing it, it's almost as if it's a 12-year-old playing Madden trying to go for these bombs every other play.
Your thoughts, Byron?
Yeah. I'm impressed with the defense. The fact that they didn't have was Lawrence has been playing, and Randy Gregory, and they've taken Micah Parsons and basically handed him here you go, you're rookie of the year, because that kid is a beast. He is a beast. And, they got him, the perfect place for him. Pretty much, a edge rusher, because he doesn't look that big to me. As big as, they say I think they listen to him at 246, 240. And for some reason, he just doesn't look that big, but he's got 12 or 13 sacks or whatever he has. But, their defense is a lot better than, what it has been in the past. And, the fact on offense, Tyron Smith, he's been hurt, a couple times, games he's missed. And, their line is still the Dallas Cowboy line. And, Zeke is doing his thing. I think he's hurt too. Again, I think it's knee or he's having some issue. But I think if they don't win the division, that McCarthy might get fired.
You think that strongly, don't you?
Yes. Because you got all these guys, like next year, I think like Amari Cooper is like 22 million with a cap hit. And they got some guys with some big money, and they ain't gonna be able to keep all of them. And they got to win. They're in either this year or next year. If they fold and fall apart this year, they're gonna fire McCarthy. That's just my opinion.
Andre, does Jerry Jones want to win in the next 2 years?
He wants to win. I don't know if he wants. I just don't know if his salary cap plays to making the moves to be the big dog right now. I just don't see it. They've been paying some guys some big money for too long, and I think as much as I like Amari Cooper, they pay him too much. As much as I like Zeke, they pay him too much. As much as I like Zach, they pay him too much. They're not leaving enough money on the table for other guys, and they got a lot of guys that deserve more money, and they're just not getting it. That's why they leave. The stars are taking up too much of the pie right now. You got 4 or 5 guys taking up 30 or 40% of the pie of that salary cap, and that tends to lead to to a problem in the future. I don't buy into this whole thing that Mike McCarthy's coaching for his life. I don't buy it. Not this year. Next year maybe, but not this year. I think he's safe for at least another year, if unless barring something stupid happening, where all of a sudden he goes 0-4 or 0-4 the next 4 games.
Which is possible.
I don't see it. Well, that's what I'm getting at. It's possible, but it's possible. But is it? But it would be it's really right now unthinkable. I mean, if they, like I said, they have to literally lose the next 4 games in order.
Yeah, that last game against the Eagles, I heard, is a trap game sometimes. I hear Eagles kind of win that one, typically speaking. So,
and it's at the Eagles, right?
At Philly, correct.
There you go. The Giants too. They got to play them again.
Tony Pollard, I like him. What about you guys? What about you, Byron?
Explosive back. It's like thunder, lightning. You got thunder, which is Zeke now, and you got the other guy's lightning. He's very impressive. He's a good back. He's a lot better than I thought he would be this year.
Andre?
He reminds me of a Kareem Hunt. Here in Cleveland, here in Northeast Ohio, we got the Cleveland combo of Chubb and Kareem Hunt, and one's a bruiser, one's a bruiser in between the guards. The other one is you can't catch him in a phone booth. So it's one of those things. I think it's a nice combo. I think the first coach to really do it right was Gene Chizik at Auburn, when he had Cadillac and he had who the other guy was, where he had two running backs that were basically running over people, or one was running over people, one you couldn't catch, and that like I said, that combo or that combination, I think is what some people need to start looking into. Not so much just the one running back and load up on one and like the Miami Dolphins of old, Ricky Williams to the left, dreads to the right, dreads down the middle. You know, that's all you saw: dreads to the right, left, or middle.
back to Miami Dolphins. Tight end Donovan Schultz, Byron. He has a future, doesn't he?
He dropped a lot of passes, though. He dropped quite a few. So
Not a perfect tight end. He's
no
Gronk.
Nah, nobody's Gronk.
He's definitely no Kelsey either.
Yeah, Kelsey's amazing.
Hey, did you guys see the Eli Peyton Manning thing?
No,
Yes.
Have you?
Yeah, I watched it.
I've been watching that. I've been watching that sucker and laughing my ass off.
Oh, man, it is fun because they had Akeem Talib was on there, and he was talking about how with Gronk, and he's like, yeah, Bill, come, I want you to be my tight end stopper. He's like, yeah, I'll get back to you. When he realized Waller, Gronkowski, and the other one, he's like, nah, I'm good. I'll stay retired. But that is very interesting. Listen to those two guys like that. A different, perspective of these guys.
Which you can only watch on ESPN Plus, right?
Yeah.
ESPN 2. ESPN 2.
Oh, ESPN 2 as well. Okay, yeah. I gotta do that
on
next
the dose. Time. On the
dose. Well, there you have it. Recap of the NFC East and the Giants. It seems like the Giants don't have a shot to turn things around. But we'll see.
I say tank for the picks, baby. Tank for the picks.
Hey, someone needs to support Tony. Looking forward to what's going to happen in NFC East. We need a stronger second team. It could be Washington. So, anyways, big week in college football hiring, of course. Napier going to Florida. And now this week, and of course, Lincoln Riley going to USC. But this week, Mario Cristobal, who was a success, you can say, in Oregon, at least in the recruiting side, is coming back to his home school, the University of Miami. Contract worth $8 million for 10 years. Something that this has been rumored for the past 2 years at least. Andre, very familiar with the Miami schools. He worked at FIU. I'm not sure if he worked with Mario. I would love to hear your perspective. Is this the right time for Mario to come in?
Byron, you take this first because I can go very long on this one.
Okay, Byron, you first.
This is my question for Andres, because we had talked about this earlier today. Do you think he's going to be successful at Miami? Because former players sometimes don't do so well when they go back to their school. And is he going to be able to recruit like Miami used to recruit back in the day? Because we've talked about this like earlier today.
All right. One thing that I know about Mario as a person, as someone who has a profound love and respect for him, for Jessica, for Mario Antonio, and Little Rocco. First and foremost, I'm super happy for him. As my former employer, as my former boss, as my friend, I'm super happy for him. More than anything, that it's always been his dream to be the head coach of the University of Miami. All right. With that being said, that getting the personal out of the way, I think there is nothing that will stop that man from recruiting. He is a recruiting machine. This is a man that when he was at FIU and we had nothing, we had no facilities, we had no practice field, we didn't even have a proper stadium. This guy would bring in 5- and 4-star talent and keep them in town for FIU of all places. When he got let go at FIU, there was there was a systemic shift in the college football, because it was like, how do you fire a guy who's so successful? Well, egos are egos, and we could go into that at length, and I would rather not. What I can say is he did the right thing of going to Alabama and doing the Alabama car wash and working under Nick Saban. So let's go over his tree real quick. This is a man who played at the University of Miami, GA'd at the University of Miami under Butch Davis. When he left Butch Davis, he went to go to Rutgers to work for Schiano. When he left Schiano, he became the head coach of FIU. Then he went to become the assistant head coach of Alabama, and he won 3 national titles at Alabama. Then he goes to Oregon to be the associate head coach at Oregon. Willie Taggart doesn't even make it a year over there and bolts. It tells you a little bit about Willie Taggart, if you ask me, but I'll leave it at that. Then the man is given the golden opportunity to take over Oregon, and he had what's that quarterback that was the number 1 quarterback?
Justin Herbert.
Or Justin Herbert, what he did is amazing. He did something that nobody does in college football. They let the kid be who he is, and let him run and help him run the offense. And if you know Mario is an offensive genius. He knew who his centerpiece was, and who he could find to support him. So what did he do? He got the best offensive lineman in all of the West Coast. You know why Stanford had average seasons? Because they couldn't get the big, smart offensive lineman. You know why USC Sam Darnold was getting killed towards the end of his years? Because the best linemen were all at Oregon. This man is a recruiting machine. He was recruiting from Oregon, for Oregon, down in Miami and Alabama and Louisiana and Mississippi. This guy just doesn't stop. He's the type of guy that he could be on a cruise, and I can say it because I've seen it with my own eyes. He's on a cruise with the family, chilling, right? And then 20 minutes later, he's on the satellite phone talking to a number 1 recruit on his depth board. Okay, this guy doesn't have a turn off. He don't turn it off. He is a football coach through and through, 18 hours a day, 7 days a week, 52 weeks out of the year. He don't stop. And that's who he is. Now, what's going to happen is amazing. Right now, with the backing of 1 or 2 very, very big money boosters, legitimate big money boosters, not the Ponzi scheme artists, not the con artists, but legitimate guys. They're pouring in money. I think it's sad to say they could have gotten Mario 10 years ago on the cheap and let him rehab Miami, but they chose not to. And you know what? I'm happy he's getting his $8 million. I'm happy that he now has the athletic director from Clemson, who went to the University of Miami, who was part of that athletic department for the first national championship, and was part of that one. Before he left, they were working on their second national championship. So now you have guys who are alums who knew what it took to build that program. Now you got guys who are walking into households with NFL greats to talk to these recruits. You tell me a recruit who's going to tell a Hall of Famer, no, I don't want to go to the U, when you got a Hall of Famer wearing his gold jacket on your sofa. I mean, he's bringing in guys like Alonzo Highsmith. He's bringing in guys like Ed Reed. He's bringing in guys like Joaquin Gonzalez. He's bringing in guys like Eric Winston to walk into people's houses to help recruit. I mean, seriously, that's some big names there. Those are big NFL, big baller names. And they're just going ahead, taking off their championship ring and putting it down on the coffee table. Yeah, I could get emotional about it because I'm serious. That's what they're doing. There is nobody who's going to win. But I think the best hire and that's the obvious hire. I think right now I got to applaud the administration at FIU. They did something great. They got Mike McIntyre. Mike McIntyre, he's actually a Miami native. even though he hasn't lived in Miami since he was a kid, but he always recruited heavily in Miami. Didn't matter if he was in San Diego State or if he was at Colorado. The dude is legit. He's a stand-up guy. As a guy who had to coach against him a couple times, I could tell you he is truly a gentleman and a scholar of the game. I think Miami, the city of Miami, has a lot to look forward to for good football. It's not going to happen instantly, and that's the problem with Miami fans. If they're not winning today, I don't want to hear it. And it ain't what have you done for me lately? It's you better be winning because I'm not leaving the tailgate for an average game.
Well, there you have it, Andre's take on Cristobal. Byron,
I said I was gonna go long.
It's great, and
great.
You know, especially him. Miami promised Mario, hey, we got the donors. They want to update the facilities. They want to bring in the assistant coaches, which I heard that was an issue in Oregon as well. Byron, is this a reawakening for Miami?
Looks like the U is going to be back. You know, they got the guy that should have, like you said, should have had a job years ago. They wouldn't have been, up and down and hiring all these guys, for the last 10 years if they had have just went with him, years ago. So yeah, as long as he gets those players, you figure, when he was at Oregon, he was getting the California kids. Now he's going to get the California kids to come, to Florida. What's wrong with nothing wrong with that? Let's see. So
they're going to take their talents to South Beach, baby.
There you go. The U is going to be back quickly, I hope.
Yeah.
Now here's my thing. Here's the big thing, and this should be eye-opening to you. They are going to match. Match the salary pool for all of for the entire athletic department, not just football, because otherwise it would be a Title IX issue. I don't know. But basically, the entire athletic department is going to be changing their budgets to match Clemson. That's huge, because let me tell you something. People go to Clemson, even if it's underwater basket weaving. People go to the games. People will watch on the ACC network Clemson badminton. Okay. I mean, we're talking about a diehard following for Clemson. All right, you got Gamecock fans, and then you got the Clemson fans. And I'm telling you right now, I'll never forget. First time I was on I-75, I-95 or whatever it was, and you saw those orange paws leading to the campus on I-95 or whatever highway it was. That's when you knew you were close to Clemson. But no, that's a big deal right there. I mean, you had guys on that Miami staff making $50,000 a year. And how expensive is it to live in Coral Gables? I mean, Santiago, you live in Fort Lauderdale, right?
Up in Weston, yeah.
You live in Weston, so you know it's expensive. I mean, come on. Who in the hell could afford having their family live in Coral Gables at $50,000 a year? You're basically living out of an efficiency in Hialeah.
At least. Yeah.
But I mean, to be completely honest with you, it's going to change things dramatically that they brought in an AD who helped build Clemson to what Clemson is today. They built those facilities. I still remember when they said that they were going to build those facilities in 2010, and in 2012 they were built. They have that beautiful lobby that has that hill to mimic that game day feel where you touch the rock and go down. If you don't want to go down the stairs, you could get on a slide and slide your ass down. I mean, seriously, Google, YouTube that thing someday. I mean, it's stupid, but it brought in kids. It brought in a culture. And you know what's the biggest thing is? He didn't get rid of Dabo Swinney because he went 500. He kept the guy. Continuity is huge in college football.
It's massive. Rhythm.
I mean, Brett Venables is now at Oklahoma. Me and Byron were talking about this. Oklahoma, if you ask me, got an amazing dude. This guy has only coached at 3 schools his entire life. He coached at Kansas State where he played. He coached at Oklahoma. And he coached at Clemson. Now he's going back to Oklahoma. I mean, come on. And his name starts with a B.
All the winners: Bud Wilkinson, Barry Switzer, Bob Stoops,
and now Brett Venables.
Hey,
that covers the last 50, 60 years.
the classics. All right, Byron, real quick. Will Miami be the top 2 teams in ACC with Clemson in the next couple of years?
Yes. Just a nice short yes. Absolutely. They are back.
Very doable, right, Andre?
It's doable now with the transfer portals. Now, I was talking to a very close friend of mine. I can't tell you what school he's at because it's a Power 5, and it would. But he expressed to me something very drastic is happening within football with these transfers, and it's hurting and helping in some cases. Because of the transfer portal, you got guys like this running back who went from Wake Forest to Michigan State. And now look at him at Michigan State. He just won the best running back of the year. The transfer portal changed the dynamic exponentially. The fact that they could transfer and they're eligible the next year. So what's happening is you got guys who, they were willing to redshirt, and all of a sudden here's their freshman year, and they're not getting the playing time. Well, if they feel that the scheme ain't right or whatnot, or their position coach is recruiting somebody who might be better than him or is not focusing on them to build them better, they're gonna go. So getting a guy an unproven guy straight out of high school isn't the only way to recruit anymore, or diving into the JUCOs. Now you can get a guy who, for all intents and purposes, let's look at Rambo. Rambo was great in Georgia, left Georgia to play for Miami. Now, granted, he wanted to play with his boy, De'Aaron King. Unfortunately, De'Aaron King had a season, practically a career-ending injury, if you ask me. But the future's bright with Van Dyke, man. That guy has the quarterback right now. Mario Cristobal has the quarterback. He's another Herbert, if you ask me.
Well, you have Shane Rattler is probably going to be going. Where's he going to end up? Kid from OU.
I really do think he just might follow his coach to USC. He just might.
There you have it. Inside from Andre. Well, there you have it. Mario Cristobal heading to Miami. Big changes. I'm happy. Andre's happy. And, of course, Mr. Jones is happy. Let's look at – now we're done with college football. Let's go into NFL predictions. Week 14. And we're going to see what's going to happen. Tonight is Thursday Night Football. Pittsburgh at Minnesota. Let me look up the score before I ask you guys, because maybe things could be really rough right now. Right now, it's still 0-0. We'll start with Andre. Who do you have tonight between Pittsburgh at Minnesota?
Man, as much as I have a lot of Pittsburgh Steelers fans around that live around me, including the guy who lives above me, I honestly think Dalvin Cook coming back changes the dynamic of that Minnesota squad. And if he's a healthy Dalvin Cook, Pittsburgh's in trouble.
Byron Jones. Minnesota Vikings. No brainer there. The New Orleans Saints visit the Jets. We'll stick with you, Byron.
Oh, man. Let's see. Taysom Hill's injured. Where are they playing it? New York?
In New York, Meadowlands.
I'm going to go with the Jets. A shocker.
Dude, yeah, which they have, win some big games there. It's quite incredible. Andre the Gisbert. Saints at Jets.
I honestly think New Orleans is in trouble. They're in trouble because they're playing in cold weather.
And they might have.
That's basically my honest assumption. Anytime a dome team has to go play in cold ass weather, it just hurts the joints a little bit differently.
Yeah, it hurts a little bit. Plus,
Kamara is
feels
coming
more
back.
harsher.
Kamara will be back this weekend. Atlanta at Carolina Panthers. Andre Gisbert. This might be a low key game. What's gonna happen there?
I'm nicknaming this the Tampon Bowl. Between the Carolina and Atlanta. I mean, I love Matt Rule. Matt Rule's my boy. The fact that he had to fire Joe Brady is shocking. But it is what it is. I think they're starting Cam again. I think they're going to start Cam Newton, and we'll see what Cam Newton does. Atlanta, I think Atlanta's done, man. I think they're just going through the motions. So you could see how they've been putting in a lot of guys that you haven't seen on film before playing lately. So usually when you start seeing that, they're trying to analyze who they're keeping and who they're getting rid of.
So Atlanta or Carolina?
No, I'm putting it on Carolina.
Byron Jones.
I think it's Carolina's game to lose.
I'm going
Byron.
Atlanta Falcons. And
Atlanta
then
Falcons.
my other thing is with that whole Joe Brady getting fired the way he did, you figure Matt Rule has a 6-year contract. Joe Brady, was his first or second, second year with him. Then all of a sudden now, I don't like the way things are going, so you got to go. So I just felt kind of, just little loyalty, let me put the work in, but it was like out the door the first chance.
Well, you also got to remember Matt Rule, it's his way or the highway. And if you back talk a head coach like that, he's just not going to have it. And word has it, Joe Brady would mouth off to head coaches. He did it to Orgeron. He did it to other guys. So, I mean, it is what it is.
So I guess he's getting a little timeout then.
Byron, Seattle at Houston.
Whew. Wow. I'm going to go with an upset again. Houston.
Andre.
I'm going to call this one the Toilet Bowl.
Another bad game.
Oh, man. No, I honestly think Seattle might actually squeeze this one out, just barely. They got a few guys coming back from injury finally, and these guys have been practicing for 2 or 3 weeks instead of just jumping in from injury. They've been practicing for 2 or 3 weeks to get them healthy. So, and Houston has like 6 or 8 guys out on COVID protocol. So, I think that changes the game a little bit.
They're gonna band together. They're gonna pull this one out.
B. Jones, Raiders at the Chiefs, and an AFC West divisional game.
Well, since the Chiefs are playing way better than what they've been playing the last 4 or 5 games, gotta go with Kim. Gotta go with those Chiefs.
Andre, do you concur?
I don't. I honestly think Vegas might squeeze this one out.
Wow, that's a big upset of the weekend.
Vegas might squeeze it out. Yeah, it's going to be one of those games that Pat Mahomes is going to play like Pat Mahomes and going to try his damn best, but that defense ain't going to hold up nothing.
Another divisional game, Ravens at the Browns. Byron, will be an upset.
Lamar Jackson's going to fix himself. He's not going to keep throwing all the interceptions that he's thrown the last 3, 4, 5, 6 games. I'm going with the Ravens.
The Ravens flock. Andre, you're in Ohio. What is the feeling there?
I don't want my truck to end up on bricks, so I'm going for the Browns.
Okay, fair enough. Cowboys at Washington. This is a big game. I think this is going to be what's going to happen there, Byron? This is going to be huge.
It's costing me a steak and a bottle. I got to go with the Washington Redskins. I'm going to ride that train all the way to the end.
I already told you, man, buy that tomahawk steak. I think Dallas is going to win this game. I honestly just go ahead and buy that tomahawk steak. I think now the tomahawk, I just looked it up for you. Omaha Selects has that tomahawk steak right now at $187. So why don't you go ahead and buy it now before it's at $250 by the end of the year?
You're killing me, man. You're killing me.
Yeah, there's kind of momentum on Dallas, but there's more momentum with Washington. But they do meet in 2 weeks later in Dallas, so we'll see what happens there. Jacksonville at the Titans. Byron, no running back. They're struggling. Can Jacksonville pull this off?
No, because I think Urban Meyer is probably going to get fired at the end of the year. Yeah, he's going to get fired. He got to go. He got to go because he's holding poor, Trevor back. So I'm going to go with the other guys. Titans.
Andre, Tennessee's right south of you. What's going to happen in Nashville?
I think Tennessee will win, but because Jacksonville is doing a low key tanking for better players next year. I honestly think he's doing it low key. There's no reason why he's playing that many freaking practice players.
That is a good, evident situation there.
I mean, seriously, he started 3 practice players. He started guys from the practice squad.
They probably
coincidence.
They probably bought him donuts or something, to practice. Some donuts and coffees, some bad for him.
Nah, I think he's tanking for draft picks, man. I really do.
Lions had their first win last week, but they're going to Denver against a Bronco team that lost last week. Byron, this could be interesting. What's going to happen there?
I'm going to roll with my upset special. I think the Lions are going to squeeze out another one. Yes. Go Lions.
Andre, will the Lions squeeze it out as well?
No. I think the Denver Broncos are going to destroy them. I really do think so. The way that they lost the way Denver lost last week, I honestly think it was all more mental errors. I mean, heck, they had something like 23 penalties. 23 penalties in the game or something like that. It was nuts. 23 or 26 penalties, something like that. It was nuts. No, I really think I think their coach went ahead and made them do enough gassers to get the freaking false starts and personal interference penalties out of their system, man.
Let's go for the game of the weekend for certain people. Maybe Victor. Giants at the Chargers. What's going to happen there?
Byron. I'll just say it. The Chargers, if they lose this game, they totally suck.
The Chargers are going to blow the Giants' doors off. This is going to be ugly.
So it'll be the Chargers.
Yes,
for both you guys.
Yes.
And Daniel Jones will be out. Neck issues.
Yeah, they don't know what's wrong with him. Shepard's not playing again. Today, what's his name? Barkley, ankle. He didn't limited practice. So yeah, they're going to go in there with the third team this week. So it might not be pretty.
49ers, who are having some momentum, is going to Cincinnati against the Joe Burrows. Andre, what's going to happen? You're in Ohio. What's going to happen there?
I think I never really called these. I think it might go into overtime. I really do think so.
OT.
I really think this is going to be up to a last minute kick or something. They really do. The two teams really do line up really good together.
By the way, yeah. The Niners lost last week against the Seahawks. So, but
yeah, like I said, right now on paper they match up really, really good together. San Francisco last week was out 12 players due to COVID protocol. They have all those 12 players back. They only had 2 players out this week for COVID protocol. Cincinnati is missing nobody, but for some odd reason, their defense doesn't know how to stay on sides, man.
So it'll be overtime.
It'll be down to a field goal. I think it's going to be Cincinnati on a field goal.
Cincinnati
at Cincinnati.
Byron,
at Cincinnati.
Will the home team win?
Yes, Cincinnati. Going with Joe Burrows.
I think it's going to be a cold, rainy Sunday, and it'll be the type of game that people love to see from the warmth of their home.
Yes, but not be on the field.
It's going to be icky. Josh Allen visiting Tom Brady and the Bucks. This is a big, potentially Super Bowl matchup. Who knows? Byron, what's going to happen in Tampa?
Tampa got to ride with, Tom Brady. He's getting warmed up. It's the end of the year. He's going for the 8th ring. Victor's idol and everything. So I'm going to go with Tampa Bay.
Andre, the Gispert, what's going to happen in Tampa? Buffalo lost against New England last week. Can they rebound this weekend?
No, I think their offense is getting too predictable. Really, I mean, seriously, they haven't really. This is the time of the year you need to start changing it up and stop being predictable and stop being so predictable. And they really have been very predictable. He's always throwing out routes on the 3rd down. He's for a short for 3rd and short. If it's 3rd and long, they're running a China package, either on the near side or the far side. But you just look for the China, which is basically China is a wide receiver package for 2. One's an out route, one's a comeback. You're always seeing that. A hit or a hitch and in other words, a hitch and a comeback. I mean, you're really not seeing anything creative out of that offense, which is sad because they have a heck of a quarterback. But they're not they're like I said, they're just too predictable, man. I mean, they're always running it on 1st down. They're always, and that running back could probably do better on 2nd down than on 1st down. Or if you're going to run them on 1st down, let them run on 2nd down too sometimes. But no, they're not trying that. They're not setting it up for a play action properly. It's just it's another example of someone who played Madden, who's playing Madden, just throwing a bunch of crap on the wall and seeing what sticks.
There have it. Both pick Tampa. Sunday Night Football, Chicago at Green Bay. Byron, what's going to happen? NFC North showdown.
Oh, we got to go. We got to go with Green Bay because we're trying to get Chicago, get that pick a little bit higher since the Giants do own that pick. So Green Bay in a romp.
Andre Gispert, what's going to happen in Lambeau?
I'm all about Green Bay today. I honestly think that Chicago needs an enema starting from their ownership down. I mean, seriously, that is seriously. How many Ohio State quarterbacks lay an egg in the NFL? I mean, seriously, how many does it have to take for people to realize you don't go after an Ohio State quarterback? And yes, I live in Ohio, and no, I'm not afraid of someone going after me over this because the proof is in the pudding. It started off with Kurt Herbstreit. I mean, seriously, do I need to say more? Not one of them has been any good in the NFL.
Okay. Monday Night Football, NFC West Division Showdown. Rams at the Cardinals. Andre, what you got?
I got the Rams, baby. I really do. I think I honestly think they're starting to look like the Rams offensively. Defensively, they look like the bad news Bears, but offensively, they're starting to look like the Rams.
The Rams with OBJ.
Yeah, they're starting to look. They're running him a lot more as a decoy, although he does get some catches here and there. But no, they really are looking pretty good as an offense. Defensively, though, I don't see it.
Byron Jones, what's going to happen in Glendale?
I'm going with the Rams. Von Miller's going to beat Von Miller. Aaron Donald's going to be Aaron Donald, and they're going to get after him.
There you have it. That is week 14. Poll question of the day. What is your favorite pastry? Options are pie, eclairs, cannoli, or danishes.
No, I was very offended. We have three Hispanics if you include Victor on this broadcast, and you didn't have pastelitos. How dare you? No,
I had to go to American. Not all America knows about pastelitos.
I don't care. That's like baklava. Everybody knows what a freaking look it up, man. How in the world this is? I understand this is the Jersey boys, but come on, man. If I mean a cannoli's cool and all, but it's really a dessert. It's not really a pastry. It's not something that you go and you line up at 8 o'clock in the morning to get the nice fresh hot guava. I mean, come on.
Byron, what's your pick?
Pastries. I'll be easy.
Okay, just general. Okay, well, pie is winning 55%. Eclairs 11, cannoli 33, and the Danish is at 0%. So
Danish is a breakfast thing, man. That's like a donut.
You know how many donuts I ate, man, when I worked for the sheriff's department? I can't tell you how many times I had donut. I had every donut all up and down the East Coast.
I'm just saying, man, pastelitos are the deal, man. Seriously, I crave pastelitos at 7 in the morning or 8 o'clock at night. I don't care, especially when they're nice and warm. No, seriously.
Which was your favorite, the guava and cheese or the coconut one?
I honestly love guava and cheese, but
that's a good combo.
The bomb diggity of it right now. I had it, and I have to put it hands down. Is quite the combination. Is cream cheese and coconut.
That sounds good.
Oh, dude, it was another level of it was a pastelito of another level, man. Vicky's Bakery, baby. Vicky's Bakery. They deliver to everybody. They'll deliver the frozen ones to even here in Northeast Ohio.
Hey, thank God for frozen food delivery. Byron, can you read us out the Gary Sinise Foundation?
Yeah, there we go. Freedom and security are precious gifts that we as Americans should never take for granted. We must do all we can to extend our hand in times of need to those who willingly sacrifice each day to provide that freedom and security. While we can never do enough to show gratitude to our nation's defenders, we can always do a little more. The Gary Sinise Foundation. Gary Sinise. Dig deep and give. And remember, Army-Navy game this weekend.
Who you got?
Sir. Who do you got?
Go Army. Come on now. Go Army. Beat Navy.
How about you, Andre?
I actually got Navy this year. I think I'm hoping for I know Ken Malta. I can never say his name right, and God forgive me because I've actually shook the man's hand in 5 or 6 different occasions. But Coach Ken, one, he's a member of the church, the same church I'm in. We're both Latter-day Saints, so of course I got to root for him. But more than anything, he's just such an awesome, genuine dude. And they struggled this year. They're one of those teams that they always have Navy, Army, Air Force. They have their moments. They have their ups and downs. And not everybody could be Clemson or Alabama, where they're always climbing up. Hey, Clemson's finally had a rough year for the first time in 8 years.
Yeah.
But no, in all honesty, I'm hoping for Navy so that it could be a 3-way tie for the Commander-in-Chief trophy and no one claims it. The Air Force guy is saying go Navy, so that no one wins the Commander-in-Chief trophy this year.
Well, there you have it. The only college football game this weekend. And of course, playoffs begin in New Year's. So looking forward to that. We'll have a preview show before that starts. And of course, you can visit us on the Sportscast. Before we go, Byron, what is the best way to reach you online? I heard you have a Twitter account.
That Byron C. Jones 1.
And Andre, you are on Instagram and also on Twitter. But what is the best way to reach you online?
The best way is to DM me on Instagram. I don't really look at my Twitter. I think I use it so I could go ahead and recruit back in the day. I still have it. It's probably under Coach Dre Gisbert, but really I don't even look at it anymore.
And what is your Instagram handle?
Andre Gisbert.
Same as my name, man.
Andre Gisbert.
Last thing. One more thing.
Yeah.
Who's going to win the Heisman this weekend?
I really hope it's Kenny Pickett.
Why?
I know that you don't want to hear that, but I'll give you a reason why.
What?
The dude from Alabama is playing with superstars. Okay?
Too easy.
The dude from Ohio State, I don't want to hear it. I really don't want to hear it.
CJ Stroud.
I don't want to hear it. As far as I'm concerned, the dude from Ohio State, he shouldn't even be up on there. The running back from Michigan, yeah, he deserves to be a finalist. But I at the end of the day, that kid, that defensive guy,
Edge rusher Aiden Hutchinson from Michigan.
Aiden Hutchinson. Unfortunately, he won't get the votes. I think it's a shame. I really think that the Heisman is just handed to the quarterback every year kind of deal. And when you think about it, it's not fair. It's not right. It should be different. But if you really look at how Kenny Pickett was the best player, if he had better players around him, I don't think anybody stops Pitt. He was Pitt. He was the Pitt offense.
And where is he from? Ocean Township, New Jersey.
No kidding. I did not know that.
Kid. Monmouth County.
And Byron, who you think will win? Of course, between Bryce Young, CJ Stroud, Kenny Pickett, and Aiden Hutchinson.
Bryce Young.
Bryce Young, clear favorite. It sounds like. All right, thesportscast.net. You can reach us there, or also on our Twitter, the Sportscast One. Also for Instagram, the Sportscast One. A lot going on in the world of sports this weekend. Army versus Navy, and of course, Week 14 of the NFL. So things are stacking up in football, leading to a conclusion, and we'll see what happens. Anyways, Andre Gispert, Byron Jones, I appreciate you coming on to the Jersey Boys Sports Talk.